Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm super excited to be talking about the Boss RE-202 Space Echo. This pedal has a feature set that made me want to redo my entire board around it because not only does it do delays, but it has a spring reverb in it and a saturation knob. I've recorded a handful of times on the original Roland Space Echo, and I love the tones of that, but the best feature in my opinion is the ability to drive the preamp of the unit and also drive the output into your tube amp. So not only can you use the original Space Echo as a delay unit, but also as a preamp and a way of saturating your tone, and it just sounds better in general. Even if you're not using the delay, just running through that original unit makes the sound better. And the RE2 doesn't have that, it's just the delay part of it. But the RE202 has this saturation knob, and so I was extra excited about that. Right out of the box, the saturation knob only applies to the repeats of the delay, but there's a setting you can change in the menus of the pedal that actually lets this saturation apply to the dry signal as well. In other words, it lets you use this as a preamp for your guitar tone. So basically how I have this set up is I have my overdrive in front of it that I use to drive the preamp of it, and then I'll adjust this saturation knob to add saturation and preamp gain to my guitar, but also to drive my Strymon Iridium at the end of my chain. To me, this is the best sound and best emulates the workflow of using an actual Space Echo with my board. But the benefit of having it here is I have it in the middle of my chain instead of running all my pedals into the Space Echo as the last thing in my chain. Starting over here on the left of the pedal, if you're familiar with any of the Boss multi-effects pedals, then you'll recognize this. It's basically the memory section. And so you have 4 memories plus the manual mode, which is wherever the knobs are set. And this is pretty common on a lot of units. I used to have the DD200. It's like the little small delay, same kind of thing. It's really easy to write presets. You just set it up how you want and then press and hold the memory button till it flashes, and then you save a new memory. The next thing here is an input section, and this basically lets you decide if you're running a guitar or a line level signal into it. If you're running a guitar, set it on guitar, but if you're running it with a line level signal, say from a mixer or something, you'll want to set it over to line level. You just press it once, it goes over. I've run this in front of house as an effects send, so I've set all my vocals and guitars over to this, and it sounds incredible. So not only have I used it for guitar effects, but it's awesome for front of house as well. The next thing here is the tape age, and you have an option for new or aged, and this is basically how lo-fi it feels. So new will be that clean and pristine, bright kind of tape sound, and then aged is going to be a little darker, more rolled off. Generally will sit in the mix a little better, like sit under the mix. In the middle you have this mode selector, and this is what repeat heads you want to use. I'll explain that a little more once I'm playing some sounds so you can hear what it's doing. You have bass and treble here to control the overall tone of your repeats, as well as reverb. By default, it's the Space Echo Spring, but you can change it to a plate, a room, a couple other ones in there. And then down here are some of your echo settings. So repeat rate is the speed, which you can also set a speed by tapping it out. The addition of the tap feature is a big deal to me because I don't always have time to set the repeat rate per song. I just want to tap it out really quick, and that's a great way to do it. Intensity is the amount of repeats. So if you have it set all the way down, it's going to just give you 1 repeat. And then as you turn it up, you'll have more repeats. And then the echo volume is just the return level of the delay. So when you have it all the way down, there's no echo returns, and as you turn it up, your echo volume will increase. The 3 buttons here, you have on-off, just bypasses the whole unit. Memory allows you to cycle through your presets, and then tap lets you tap out the tempo. There's also secondary functions if you hold the pedal down. Warp, I believe, will simulate an infinite repeat, so it just keeps going. If you hold this, you will turn on and off the reverb. That's a nice feature. If you want to get a little more mileage out of the presets you have, you can set a reverb for each one and then toggle it on and off. Over here is twist, and I believe twist simulates speeding up the repeat rate. I'll confirm that when we're running through it, but I think that's what it does. I never use it, it's too weird for me. Okay, let me get the guitar. Okay, I am playing a Fender Strat with some compression from the JHS Pulpin Peel, and I'm on the chime sound of the Strymon Iridium. So that's kind of like a Vox, and I have it set really clean. Here's my sound. So wow and flutter, I forgot to mention that earlier. Wow and flutter basically simulates tiny little differences in the playback. So whether that be like pitch or timing, basically it translates to a nice warbly kind of sound. So turn up some of that. Kind of gives it some sauce. That's a little bright, so I can roll it off right there with the treble. Great. Okay. This is with no saturation. And then as I bring this up, it's driving both the sound of my guitar and the echoes, and it'll keep getting good as you turn it. So that little bit of breakup is all just from the space echo. That's so good. That's the best sounding overdrive in my opinion. The best part about this is you can set it up within the pedal that even when the effect is bypassed, you still get the saturation on your dry guitar sound. So you can basically use this as an always-on preamp for your guitar. That's great. It's so good. So that's what the saturation does. I usually leave it around 10 o'clock. And then I'll push it more with an overdrive pedal or something if I want more grit. Another cool thing about it is that you can save a different saturation level for each memory. So if you want a memory for like solos, so let's save this to memory 4. Press and hold. Once it flashes, you can click over to the memory you want to save and save it. Press and hold to save. It'll flash again. Good. And what we're going to do is have this manual mode be a lot more. So then, we're chilling over here. And then advance your memory. And now you're getting more overdrive on a memory change instead of just your effects changing. Okay. Here's what the tape age sounds like. I'll set the EQ flat on it. So this is on the new setting and the aged. So it rolls off a lot of that top end. If you want it to sit under your playing, I recommend the aged, but if you want it to pop out in a mix, I'd switch it over to new. I'm going to set the intensity down to 0 so you can hear what this mode selector is doing. So essentially, tape head 1 will be exactly where your repeat rate is set at, or your tap. So if I tap this out, and then each one, basically, number 2 is going to be your delay time multiplied by 2. And then 3 is going to be your delay time multiplied by 3. And then 4 is a new thing they added on this pedal, and I don't really use it, honestly. But if you want some weird combinations, you can go over to 4. I think it's just multiplied by 4. but I'm a big fan of just 1 through 3. And so as you go, setting 1 is just tape head 1, setting 2 is tape head 2, setting 3 is tape head 3. Once you get to 4, it starts doing combinations. So the first one is heads 1 and 2. Next one is heads 2 and 3. Next one is 1 and 3. And then the next one is all 3. And then we've got 1 and 4, 3 and 4, 1, 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 4, and then all of them. And now it does something weird on this one that I don't understand, but it's not the same as all 3 added together. Or sorry, it's not the same as all 4 added together. Here's the reverb. I love the reverb in this too. Let me turn the echo volume all the way down. Or just try again and I'll bring up some reverb. So in regards to the delay time, if you have most recently touched the knob, then the knob is going to be controlling your delay time. But as soon as you touch the tap, then the repeat rate control goes to the tap instead of the knob. So then if I touch this, you'll notice the flashing went away and the time is back here. Next, I'm going to show you a fun little tip I like to do to get quarter notes and dotted eighth notes together on one pedal. So if you're anything like me and you've tried to sync up 2 pedals so that one does quarter notes and one does eighth notes, I've actually figured out a way to do this on just this pedal, and so I'll show you how to do that now. So to start, go ahead and turn off any reverb, get a good bright sound so you can hear what's going on easily. Start on mode 1, which is just the first tape head. And so what you want to do is set this one to equal 16th notes of whatever song you're trying to play. And so once you have your 16th set how you want on the number 1 mode, basically number 2 is going to be eighth notes, number 3 is going to be dotted eighths, and then I believe on this one, number 4 is actually the quarter note. Yeah, okay. Simulates oscillation. So it's turning the intensity all the way up so that it just keeps going. So that's a cool effect. And then twist will kind of speed it up. And then when you let go, it goes back down. fantastic sounding vintage delay unit that also supports your tone in other ways. I can't recommend this enough. Even if you don't use the saturation how I have set up and just use it as delay, it's still fantastic. It's so easy to use, and there's not too much menu diving once you get your initial preferences set up. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you have any kind of space echo, let me know down in the comments what you're using and what you use it for. If you have any questions about this unit in particular, you can also let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe.